I hope you were able to be at church on Sunday, and we studied the life of Joseph. And as I shared with you on Sunday morning, Joseph is just one of my all-time favorite characters in the Bible. He's one of my favorites for a number of reasons. One is I just love the story of Joseph. I really appreciate watching him grow and mature as you just watch the story unfold in the biblical text. And he just demonstrates all kinds of giftedness and abilities and discernment. There are just a lot of things I love about him. But also identify with Joseph in some ways because he's got older brothers, and he was one of the younger brothers. Well, I understand how that is, and any of you that have had older brothers, then you have a little bit of affinity for somebody like Joseph. Now, granted, my older brothers never actually plotted to kill me, at least not to my knowledge. But I also understand, though, sometimes how there can be tensions in a family. And Joseph, of course, as we talked about Sunday, was his daddy's favorite, and that didn't help in his relationship with his brothers, and probably didn't even help him, actually. But the thing I love about this story is we watch this guy grow and mature and develop, and he becomes a very good steward of what God provided for him. There's no doubt that Joseph was a gifted man. He was a very talented person. And even when he gets to Egypt, he stands out above the crowd, and he's given some opportunities that a lot of people didn't get. So as we're reading through the text this week, we're going to be reading about the story of Joseph, and we're going to watch him emerge as this incredibly mature leader by the age of 30. He appears on the scene for us in our readings when he's 17 years old, and he's the dreamer. But he's going to make his way through the rest of his life and be not just a dreamer, but he's going to become this dream interpreter, and then he's going to actually implement an incredible plan to give leadership to Egypt, and he rises to this position of power as he assists Pharaoh during the years of the famine in Egypt. And of course, he has tremendous influence on his own family because of his stewardship of what God provided for him. So what I want you to be looking for as you read this week are some evidences of stewardship. Joseph stewarded God's provision. So the question is for us, what about us? That's the question I posed for you on Sunday morning. What kind of steward are you? You've been given influence. We all have spheres of influence, places of responsibility, and each one of us has an opportunity to manage that influence, to steward that influence. And as we watch Joseph do that, it's a great opportunity for us to evaluate, how do we do that? We also watch Joseph steward affluence. As Joseph recognizes the incredible gift that Egypt was given during these 7 years of plenty, that allowed him to steward that time so they would be prepared for the 7 years of famine. Well, you and I also need to be good stewards of our affluence. And I love the word steward or stewardship. I'm sure that it means different things to different people, but when I think about a steward, the thing that I love about that word is that it reminds me that I'm not the owner of what I have. Now, sometimes I think we feel like we're the owners. We might have our name on something and we think, well, that actually belongs to me. But if you think about it, God is the one who's given us the ability to work. He's given us the ability to make a living, to think rationally, to perform certain duties. And because of that, we can earn a living for our families. So at the end of the day, God is really the one who's provided all that for us. And so He's asking us to be good stewards of it. And so I've asked you during this series on trust to try tithing. Perhaps if you've never done